Hey guys, Stephen Martinez with the American Dream. I just want to say a big thanks to all our supporters and fans. It's because of you guys that we're able to keep growing. Having said that, please don't forget to follow and subscribe. It means a lot to us. That's what helps us keep growing. And also, I hope you guys enjoy the next episode.
All right, guys, from Houston, Texas, we got Stephen Martinez here. We're going to talk the American Dream today.
Yeah, we are.
And you're living proof of that.
I'm trying my best. I'm doing my best, brother.
So when did you start realizing this opportunity was out there?
Man, that's a good question. To answer that, we have to go back a little bit before the American Dream, the whole conference, the event, the podcast, the book was ever a thing. I think we have to dig into the roots of my parents. Mm-hmm. So my mom and dad immigrated from Colombia, pretty much coming here for an opportunity like anyone else, right? Everyone comes here for the land of opportunity, just to have a better life. Fast forward a little bit, my family got divorced. Mom and dad got divorced when I was 12, 13. So I was with my mom, and I mean, she didn't speak the language, right? So she was just hustling.
Yeah.
And I was the middle child of three, and she was cleaning houses. And she would wake up at like 5 a.m., 5:30 a.m., just to go clean houses. And I would voluntarily like, hey, Mom, I'll come with you. So before school, I'd go help her clean houses, take out the trash, this and that. And then she would tell me, she would say, Stephen, you know, you're going to be the person that can get us out of this situation. You have so much potential. And then in my head, I'm like, oh, you're just my mom. You're just saying that because you love me. But it did resonate, especially the whole school thing. School was very big for our culture. You know, go to school, get your bachelor's, get your master's. So I got my bachelor's, got my master's, and then COVID hit. And I was like, man, okay, I could still do online. But then like the whole workplace thing froze, so no one was working. I don't know if you remember this, but during COVID, you couldn't go to Target, Walmart, H-E-B, all those stores. So I was doing Uber Eats, but it's not Uber Eats, but like you did groceries for people. So you go to the store, Kroger, whatever, do the groceries, deliver the groceries. And then my buddy hit me up, and he was like, hey, man, it's my birthday. And there's this one spot during COVID that pretty much lets you go out and like have no social distancing type of thing, really low-key spot. So I'm like, sure, it's your birthday. We go out, we celebrate. I'm in school, I'm just working hard, doing Instacart, that's what it was called at the time, just hustling, making money, trying to make ends meet. And then after the bar, he's like, let's go to the strip club. And usually I just say bar, but to be transparent, I feel like it's important for people to know where I met my mentor at the time because of the environment, and you never know who you meet. And they say luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
Right.
And I was there at 3 a.m., just having a good time, minding my business. And I see this guy in like a professional suit, like corporate style. Like you could tell he's not doing anything shady or, you know, this or that. And I'm like, damn, like that must be nice. 30 minutes later, we start talking. And he's like, hey man, you know, I'm in the blue collar industry. So we have an online training platform, a big event for contractors. If you're serious, get my number down and call me in the morning. Now this is where it could have gone left or right. Mm-hmm. Left as in like, okay, this guy's weird. Like it's 3 a.m. at a strip club. I've never met this guy before. But then right as in, you know what, there's an opportunity that I think might be something. Why not go for it? So I went all in on that. Called him in the morning. He was like, hey, we're leaving in an hour to Lake Charles. This was during Hurricane Laura, Sally, Delta, and Charlie. This was like 4 or 5 years ago. And I didn't know anything about the industry. I didn't know what a shingle was, nothing. I just knew people. I knew relationships. I knew kind of the lingo for business from school, but that was about it. And I called my mom. It was Labor Day. I said, Mom, there's an opportunity that I don't think I can miss. Like, this is serious. She's like, good luck. I love you. Go all in. Said and done. I went all in. And then that's what pretty much created the American Dream. I learned everything.
Wow.
So instead of me learning a cubicle from a 9 to 5 where I'm just doing marketing, now I understand sales. I understand production, quality control, admin, HR, systems, procedures, SOPs. How do you build and scale a company to 20 million? And because of him was what pretty much helped me create my concept. And then we shifted it to a different market and we just made it bigger and better.
I love that, man. So you learned more from him than your master's degree?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the master's degree now, I saw a study on it. I think it was on Instagram or TikTok. It's like 86% of college students regret their bachelor's.
I saw that yesterday.
Yeah, I saw it yesterday too.
And that's just people self-admitting, so it might even be higher.
I think so.
Because who wants to admit that they wasted money and time?
Mm-hmm.
But I think people are waking up. I think, like when I have kids, I'd rather them get a mentor, whether it's me or someone else, than go to college if they're going to be an entrepreneur.
100%. I think the hardest part about it all, with a lot of people asking me specifically, is how do you find these mentors? And as simple, I mean, I guess that situation and that environment was very scarce, right? Very limited. It's tough to find a mentor at a strip club at 4 a.m. On a random night out. But I think if you provide value and you find a way to get yourself in the door, no matter how or what way you can, it doesn't necessarily have to be monetary value, right? I could be providing value through, perfect example, my editor. I get like 20 messages on Instagram saying, hey, let me edit your videos, let me edit your videos. I charge this, I charge that. So before we really kind of developed a good strategy, I needed an editor. And then this kid messaged me saying, hey, I'll work for you for a month for free. He's providing value and I'll have nothing to lose. Crushed it, killed it, has been working with me for 3 years.
Wow.
So that's the essence of getting yourself in the door, providing value, meeting the right people. And the moment you do that, you start to create proximity. And then that's how you can find mentors, like-minded people for different areas. Because don't get me wrong, there are mentors for different areas. You're not going to go to an overweight person for gym advice, right? You need mentors for your physical health, financial, mental health, emotional health, all sorts of aspects of life.
I got like 7, dude. Like,
exactly.
Yeah, basketball, health. I got a spiritual one. I got a religious one. I have a business one, mindset one. There's so many. Yeah, you don't want to listen to just one guy for everything. That's how you fail. And that's what people think mentors are, I think.
Exactly. And then you get bad habits too, indirectly. Like my first mentor, dude, genius. But he had bad habits. And then that like kind of...
Strip club was one of them?
Yeah, exactly. So you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, I need to step back here, self-reflect, and find people that are good at different areas, which is totally fine because everyone's people, right? We're all humans. That's what makes us special. And it's understanding that. So you're 100% right on that part.
Yeah, I get asked that all the time, finding mentors. It's definitely like there's no one set answer for that. But I think just putting yourself in the right situations will help the odds of you finding one.
100%.
Going to events like your conference or whatever, you know. For your instance, it was a strip club.
That was the best yes I could have done, man. That was my first time actually going to one.
Oh,
too.
really?
Yeah,
That's just destiny at that point then.
It really is. And I'll tell you something that I've told very few people, and a lot of people believe me or don't. It's totally fine. But before that whole scenario happened, I was with friends, and I was dressed really nice. And they're like, why are you dressed so nice? I was like, you never know who you're going to meet. But like in my head, I'm thinking I'm going to meet a pretty girl. Turns out I actually ended up meeting my...
you manifested it in a way.
I believe in the law of attraction 100%.
What were some things he taught you that sort of got you on your feet?
Man, marketing. He's a marketing genius. I was in sales with him, and I understood relationships very well. For example, if I had a client, I wouldn't call him a client. I'd call him my friend. I wouldn't utilize people monetarily. I would do it as I would play the long-term game with people. For example, Tommy Mello. He was brought into me when he was with Anthony Domenico, my first mentor, and he was doing the conference and all this good stuff. And Anthony wanted to sell him on something. He was like, I want you to close him. And me and Tommy created a really great relationship. And then Tommy on the side was like, hey, man, like, you're cool. So I appreciate it. He's like, don't sell me that. I don't like to be sold. I was like, respect. Said and done. I didn't sell him anything. We just built a friendship.
I love that.
And then we went to dinner one time. And then I told the waiter, hey, let me go to the restroom. I got my card out. I paid for the tab. Because, you know, a lot of successful people like to pay for the tab. And I was like, I don't want him to feel used because I'm not that type of person. And obviously, him with his caliber, I want to provide value any way I can, even if it's a simple dinner.
Classic.
And the waiter comes back, tab is paid. And he's like confused. He's like, what? And she was like, yeah, he paid for it. And then Tommy, ever since then, it was like skyrocketed friendship. And he'd thank me for dinner. So I'd have a billionaire thanking me for dinner when I'm like 21, 22.
Yeah.
Barely making $6.
I bet he's the one paying for most dinners. So
100%.
For him to get that the other way around was huge, I bet.
I think you know how it is too when it comes to those people, right? They don't mind, which is totally fine. But, you know, I'm the type of person that I really want to stand out and make an impression. If doesn't necessarily have to be monetarily, right? It could be anywhere, shape, or form of me helping you, whether it's connect you to someone that I know or X or Y.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of the secret sauce that he taught me. So back to your question, it was the sales/relationship end game and then monetizing that through marketing, understanding how to brand, how to scale, and how to create a brand. Because we had to create something from scratch that never existed. We had to create an event, a conference that never existed with no proof of concept. So I think that was the toughest bit for sure.
Conference is a tough space, dude. I wouldn't be surprised if most of them lose money just off the conversations I've had with people that run conferences. So you need to have a good back end. You need a good sales team and everything.
You know what I tell people? So we're doing our third event next year. And the gentleman you had before is a construction roofing. So you can be in the roofing industry for 5 years and have 3 to 4 horrible years. And then a storm hits. And then skyrocketed, you're doing 5-6 million.
Yeah.
Totally normal. You see that all the time. With events, it's a one-stop shop. You have one opportunity, either you make it or you don't. Because if you miss, you're not going to have attendees, you're not going to have vendors, sponsors, no proof of concept will ever be delivered. So it's literally like sink or swim. And you're developing and creating something that hasn't been done.
Right.
There's no name to like, imagine going to a vendor and being like, hey, do you want to come and support our event? They're like, yeah, sure. How many times have you done it? Oh, not yet. Drop 20,000 to come and sponsor and support us. Like, dude, there's no track record, no proof, no nothing. So you really have to understand your target, your niche, your product, your service, how to brand, how to market it, and how do you make it unique, really.
Right.
So the way we made it unique was by hitting a specific demographic, which is the Latino community.
So you saw a hole in the market. You didn't see these people being catered to at other events?
100%. We do RoofCon Win the Storm. My mentor had Win the Storm. Before he sold it, he had around 4,000 people show up.
Holy crap.
Contractors. And then I'm looking at all these contractors. I'm Latino. I'm fully Colombian. And I'm like, dude, I see as white people. But then, like, funny enough, like 80 to 90% of the home service space, they speak Spanish. You see a laborer, they're Latino. A lot of these people are immigrant. And I'm like it's like kind of like a light bulb moment. I was like, why has no one created or promoted or targeted our market when it's the predominantly main market and foundation for this industry? So let me make a concept, apply it to a different market, and make it better. And that's when we just went all in.
That's so true, dude. 80% of my contractors are Latino or Spanish speaking. That's a good point. So that's like the entire market pretty much.
And no one's done it before.
And no one's targeted them. That's crazy.
Especially to this magnitude. I mean, I'm sure maybe they've done like small events, but our last event had around almost 400 people. And we more than doubled from the first one. So we're expecting to hopefully hit 700-800 people with the consistency that we're doing.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So you're doubling almost every single one. Imagine where you'll be in a few years.
That's what everyone says, but I think it's one of those where you take it one step, one day at a time.
Right.
You know, I don't like to project it. You know, it's, for example, the first event. If I was like, oh man, I need to get 100 people here without creating anything, it's not going to be possible.
Nah.
I start off by doing the simple stuff first, such as going to an event, talking to a vendor, talking to a sponsor, connecting with someone, reaching out with my previous relationships from sales, seeing if people want to support what we're building and structuring, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think that's the main secret, one day at a time.
I've had 14 networking events in the past 6 years. My first event had 30 people. Now, I could have walked away from that like super, like, you know, pissed and not had another event again, but I saw that as a good sign to keep going.
You're crushing it now, man.
Yeah,
Congrats,
now they have
by
like
the way.
400, 500 people.
That's awesome.
And it's a blast every time.
Now, is it all organic whenever you're doing your events? Or
No paid ads, dude.
Wow.
So imagine if I wanted to go that route, but I like that
Smash it.
community aspect. So that's where I differ from most events where people are just trying to fill in the door. I want quality people at mine. So my events are pretty much invite only, or you got to know someone to come in.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that.
But that's how you build community, man. Community is everything.
I think you're right on that part, too. I've noticed that a lot of people like to build their own community/network type of thing, right? Like Tommy he just had an event, too, Home Service Freedom, I believe, in San Diego. So he had around 1,000 people show up as well. And, like, these people are super devoted to him. I mean, he's very disciplined, of course, which is awesome, but you're 100% right on that aspect of it. Creating that community is very important for anything.
Absolutely. And those connections when you're having events, because normally these speakers are going to want a speaker fee, but if you've provided value to these guys, they're not going to charge you. So you save $100,000 right there.
Yep. I've had instances where we've had speakers trying to charge. I mean, you know how it goes, right? Some people pay to play type of thing, or you know, they want to charge. But when you're doing your first event ever, you're not really going to have that much capital to fund that type of stuff. And I was like, hey, look, this is bigger than me. It's always been bigger than me. It's about helping the community, helping bring financial literacy, level the playing field. At the same time, you can help your personal brand, grow your personal brand, your company brand, whatever you want to do. You know, really see it from that aspect of it, not just so personal from that side of it. Like, hey, nah, man, like I'm too good for school. I charge $15K. Like either I'm in or I'm not, you know? But we've been very lucky and blessed to have the right people support us. Have you heard of Rene Rodriguez by chance?
Yep, he's been on the show.
He spoke at my first event, and I saw him on TikTok, which is the power of social media is insane, by the way.
That's how I found him.
Really?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, he had that one video with the whole.
I think, yeah, some viral video,
Yeah,
yeah. That's how I find a lot of my guests, actually. TikTok and Instagram and YouTube reels.
You got to be on top of the trend.
Yep.
That's the way to do it. I agree. So we had a call, and he was trying to sell me. Yeah, he was like, "Hey man, like I love what you're doing, but you know I charge X amount." And I'm like, "Brother, like this is our first one. Like we're trying to make this really special. You know, I want you to see the big picture." I told him the backstory to it, my family. He's Cuban. He has a similar story as well. And he was like, "Man, scratch that. I'm in." Like,
wow.
So it comes
Shout out to
show.
Renee.
Yeah, seriously, great friend of mine. Actually, I'm going to see him in October, going to Minnesota. So.
Yeah, he's a solid dude, man. He's brought a ton of guests to the show.
Really?
So, and for no money, like he's a good person.
That's
So
awesome.
I surround myself with people like that, man. And that's
That's the way to do it.
that's someone I'm probably gonna hire in the future to to coach me with public speaking.
You should come to the event, man.
Yeah,
It's October 14th through the 16th, or the 16th.
in
through the
Houston,
8th. No, it's in Minnesota.
Minnesota.
It's at his place. He's doing like a little like small.
Yeah, let me
thing.
check it out. If I'm not filming those days, I'm down.
Yeah,
But he coaches all the top speakers in our space. It's super impressive. Justin Waller, all the guys that spoke at Limitless.
Haven't been. Was it good?
Yeah,
It's in
Limitless
Utah,
was
right?
solid. Yeah, Limitless was solid, dude.
Nice.
I try to go to at least 5 to 10 conferences a year or events.
What do you benefit from it whenever you're going to these big events?
Usually it's just connections. Like I don't really watch the talks if we're being honest. I went through that motivational phase though when I was younger.
Yeah.
So like I used to blast Gary Vee and David Goggins when I was in college, but now I'm at the phase where just that doesn't really motivate me anymore. You know, I've found my purpose, so I don't need those videos anymore.
Yeah.
But I used to blast those TED Talks, man.
That's
Now I
awesome.
just go for connections and just to have fun.
I think that's the way to do it. Makes a little business with pleasure type of thing.
You have to, yeah, because I used to just be straight business. I was robotic.
Really?
Like you wouldn't even want to be friends with me.
You seem pretty easy, man. Pretty easy going.
I've had to develop into that.
Really?
Yeah,
Were you more introverted?
I still am. Yeah, I
Really?
just took a test last week. I'm still heavily introverted.
You know what I am, and it's like I'm an introvert extrovert. So like if I don't know you, I don't talk to you, which is, I guess, in the aspect of networking, kind of sucks, right? Because you're like, oh, I need to network and meet people I've never met before.
Yeah,
Definitely was a challenge at the beginning too when I'm trying to create something, and I have to meet people. I'm like, all right, suck it up. You know.
I used to be way more introverted. I think the success helped the confidence. So now I can, I don't really get nervous talking to anyone anymore. Like it could be Grant Cardone sitting there. It could be the president. I'll be a little nervous, but I won't be like freaking out or anything. As soon as we start talking, it'll go away.
Yeah, I agree. We're all people, man.
Yeah.
I think that's what differentiates us from being successful or not too. Is because sometimes we see success as, you know, this kind of like facade or this perception of it being unattainable because we see it on social media. But really, it comes down to just treating people like people. Because when you're in the business aspect, an entrepreneur, not corporate, you're doing business with people, right? So they want to know who they're doing business with. Do you take care of yourself? Are you healthy? Are you in shape? Do you have good habits? All right, cool. Now that I like him as a person, all right, now I'm interested in his product or service as well. So I think that has a big play with that as well.
100%. Yeah, I tell people not to really idolize or look up to people and like fanboy in person because it's a huge turnoff for me. Like, and for a lot of people I talk to, like it's the level of respect just isn't there anymore when you fanboy.
I agree.
You know,
I do.
there's better ways to approach someone. How'd the book start? Was that after the conference or before?
Good question, actually. So Tommy and Anthony wrote a book as well. And a lot of my mentors have books. I actually have this little small mini shelf of books, and it's all of my friends' books. Don't ask me if I've read them all, but I have them. Just more of support, and I think it's awesome. Like, it shows your proximity. Hey, like, all my friends have wrote books. Tommy one time told me, and Anthony too, that kind of said it similar ways, but essentially the best business card anyone can ever have is a book. You know, you give someone a physical card. I mean, I don't think anyone really uses that nowadays. You throw them out or you lose it or whatever. You could use the tap or dot one where they tap it, save it, whatever. But that's tangible. You know, that's going to be there forever. You're not going to lose it. You're not going to throw it away.
Yeah.
Maybe you put it in your shelf, or you put it in your home, or, you know, and then someone signs it, makes it personal. You're going to remember that.
I feel that because even if you don't read it, it's still there on the shelf. You see the name. We're actually getting a shelf here because a lot of guests have books, and we're going to display all their work there, make it pretty cool.
There you go, man.
So, I'm a fan of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you won't forget the book when someone gives you it, right?
I agree. It could be a book, or even if you, and honestly, anyone can write a book. I hate when people put me on a pedestal sometimes. Like, hey, I wrote a book at 24. I was 24 when I wrote it. They're like, oh man, you wrote a book, congrats. I'm like, well, anyone can write a book. It's like a thesis or a dissertation. It's just being disciplined with it. That's all it is. And then obviously you'll have the publishing. Amazon Publishing Direct is a good one. They'll get the title, all that good stuff. But anyone can do it. And if you don't want to write a book and you want to make an impression, something as simple as a T-shirt. Giving someone a T-shirt, hey man, or a backpack or some sort of swagger. Something that makes them subconsciously remember you. Oh, like, hey, that's the guy with the book. That's the guy with the shirt. Like, I saw your action figure there. That was cool. I was like, dude, that's awesome.
You got to brand yourself as much as possible. I wear merch every day.
Branding is so important. People don't understand that.
I think the afro helps me.
I know. How long have you had that for?
I got asked that earlier today. I've had it since I can remember. Yeah, my dad had one too, so I guess it's genetic, right? We'll see if my kid has one.
Is it like, do you style it or you just wake up and then boom?
I just wake up, yeah. I used to use gel back in the day, but I'm super like holistic now, so I don't use any fake products on my body.
Dude, you got to trademark the hair.
I might have to. Can you do that?
Didn't Jennifer Lopez trademark her butt or something like that?
What?
I'm pretty sure. I'm like 99% sure. And then boxers like trademark their hands too. They register them, so if anything happens to them, like
they get insurance. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, like J-Lo has that with her butt.
Yeah, Floyd tried to get it. I don't know if it got approved. I think Manny Pacquiao tried to get that too.
I'm sure if you did it with your hair, man.
I'm
some
down,
insurance
man.
on your hair, and then you got $1 million from that.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Some people stack those trademarks. Like, that's a full-time job these days.
Yeah. Or they'll buy the domains too.
Domains, patents.
What's that big one with Facebook? Was it Facebook?
The username handles?
Something like that. Yeah, they bought something and then they bought it for like $5 because someone on the Facebook team didn't buy it on time. And the other team.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, that might have been Twitter.
I think it was Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Elon just ended up taking it, though. Shout out to Elon. What platform are you liking the most right now?
For what?
Just
for branding and marketing?
For branding and marketing, yeah.
Man, it depends on the product or service. I'll tell you what. If you ask me, Stephen, monetarily, how do you do more? Like, where do we get more of a return on organic traffic? Is Facebook. Because the event space for the construction industry is 30 to 50 or 25 to 50 years old. So a lot of those people use Facebook. And we have a pretty good foundation and client base on Facebook. Now, when it comes to just branding, building your brand type of thing, Instagram is solid as well. TikTok, we're building it. We've been building it consistently. It's kind of hit or miss, but it's just being consistent with it, right?
Yeah.
So we're building it. Our guys do 3 posts a day or 3 reels/shorts. YouTube's been picking up a lot as well. We want to funnel it all down to the brand, the book, the event, the podcast, everything, just falling into the brand, and then that goes into the event. Because the event and the scheme of the event is the American dream, and we want to encourage any American. So what at first used to be a specific event for the Latino community to come and learn, our last event, we had a lot of African Americans, surprisingly. And I was like, whoa, like, maybe I should focus more on the minority side. And I was like, light switch, let's do it on all Americans. Because we're all immigrants some way, shape, or form, right? And that's what we've been targeting, been blowing up ever since.
Love it, man.
And it's about, obviously we grew up from the home service space, but we have people coming in from everywhere now, from garages, roofing, solar, real estate. We had a guy, his name's Gabriel Nanjeras. He has no arms, no legs. He came and spoke.
Wow.
Just about providing value, motivational. But you go to all these events too, and like you said, I'm kind of over the whole motivational stuff. So we want to emphasize too on networking, building those organic relationships, and the most important is the experience. I've noticed that in the event space, experience is so important.
It's king.
Yeah, you have to make everyone feel important and like you care. There's some events, I'm not going to name who, but they don't even like introduce themselves to sponsors that spend 30, 40,000.
Holy crap.
They think they're too cool and shit. They have all their chains, this and that. It's not a good look. I mean, for me, at least, I was raised to be more humble and respectful to people, and it's taken me a long way. Like our last event, all the vendors signed back up for the next one.
That's a great sign.
It's a great, fantastic sign.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm always thinking on how to provide value to my attendees. So even I'm still doing it. 2 days ago, I made a WhatsApp chat of all the people that have ever bought a VIP ticket, and I put them in a chat. So it's like 120 people. It's just like a mastermind chat. Like I don't make anything off it, but those guys are going to connect now outside of the events.
How many events do you do throughout the year?
I do about 3 to 5 a year.
Small or big? On the big
They
scale?
get like 300 to 500 people.
Wow.
Yeah, so I do 3 to 5 of those a year in a new city every
Okay.
time. But I've been doing a lot of Vegas lately, just because there's a lot of big events here. We got F1 coming up. We just had the Sphere,
Big one.
UFC at the Sphere. But dude, I think you're gonna crush it because when I go to certain conferences, I was just at Tucker Carlson's conference.
How was it?
Dude, I was like the only Asian one there.
Yeah,
It
there
was
you go.
all white people. Like
There you go.
literally, my friend Spencer and I stood up, and we said, whoever can find the first black person wins. We couldn't find a single one.
Why do you think that is though? Let me ask you that.
I think part of it's like people don't want to go to these alone. They want to go with a friend, and they want to go with people that they're comfortable with. So I would honestly say some people are intimidated to go to certain events just because of that. And then I don't know if pricing's a factor or whatever. Some of these conferences
Could
charge
be.
a lot, so who knows? But I think that I would be kind of scared to go if I was, a minority and saw white people.
Do you think the speakers have to do with it too? If it's like, let's say, an all-white speaker panel or something like that?
Yeah, so that event actually, now that you said that, was all white speakers as
Yeah.
well. So yes, probably the speakers. There's no representation, so why would they show up, right?
Exactly.
So that's another hole in the market right there.
That's interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
But your event's the complete opposite, right?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. We have a CEO. Well, last year was the CEO Latino panel. Now we're going to call it the CEO American panel. So we have people from different backgrounds, different stories, and just encourage people, man. I mean, we're all living life for the first time, right? And it's all about working together in unison, understanding how we can get through our day to day while becoming the best version of ourselves.
Yeah.
And it comes down to discipline, consistency. Like I started actually doing cold plunges.
Love those.
I love those cold plunges and sauna in the morning. And I realized this. I said, okay, the secret to being successful isn't waking up and doing a cold plunge every day. It's not, right? That's not going to make you money, but it's going to instill good habits. Yeah, there's benefits to it, but most importantly, it's the discipline and consistency with it. You saying, oh, shit, I don't want to do it, but you do it. That's what life is, right? There's going to be moments where we're not always going to be happy. It's impossible to be happy 24/7, but it's about having that consistency. That way we can obtain and develop and become better and better people.
Agreed. I love that, man. Have you had Carlos Reyes speak at your event?
We did.
Shout out to Carlos.
Yeah, he was at our first one. I met Carlos through Tommy, actually.
Love it. What
Yeah.
about this guy? I had him on yesterday, Moses Heredia.
No,
Look into him.
Moses Heredia.
Yeah. He's going to be the face of the Latino community. I told him.
What service or industry is he in?
Payment processing, and if he's not a billionaire already, he's on his way.
Yeah, I need to talk to him for
Yeah,
sure.
I'll connect you guys. But I think between those two, you and a few others, the Latino community is really going to explode, man. I'm excited to see it.
We're actually the fastest growing demographic in the U.S. right now,
In terms of,
like population.
oh, really?
Yeah, I think I saw a post. It's always social media. There was a census saying like by 2030, like we're gonna be like 45 to 50% of the U.S. is gonna speak Spanish.
Wow.
So it comes to show, right? It's a
That's
predominantly strong
nuts.
language.
I mean, when I'm on flights out of Miami, it's all in Spanish.
oh yeah, that's Miami. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I see it everywhere now. Even in Vegas, they're starting to creep in. Spanish commercials and everything.
Yeah, man, we're a strong work ethic. We have a good community, good foundation, good morals. We're family driven, and we want to come here for the same reason that anyone wants to come to this country, amazing country, just to be better.
Yeah. It's cool to see that next evolution, though, rather than you guys being workers, being business owners. Because I'm dating a Latina, and I saw her family.
Oh wow!
And they were so smart, but yeah, they just worked nonstop.
Where's
They
she
didn't know
from?
how to take. Her mom's from, wow, I should know this. Bolivia. Her dad's from Paraguay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I saw them work their ass off. Like her mom was a cleaner, similar to your mom, clean houses, and then her dad was a landscaper. But they could never take that next step of like, being a business leader.
Yeah, and I think it comes down to financial literacy, because a lot of people in our culture, we have the money, we have the liquid, but we don't have the understanding on where to put this money, how it works. Not necessarily a language barrier anymore, because I think there's a lot of people that are bilingual, stuff like that. It's just about applying yourself and understanding it. But financial literacy plays a big, big role in the Hispanic community.
Right.
So I think we're just afraid. We live in this shelter, in this bubble which is unfortunate, and it's very true. Carlos, we spoke about this a while ago, but we think everyone's against us. You know, I'm here, like, I'm by myself. I'm in this country, like, everyone's out to get me. But the secret to money is networking and working together. It's not a competition, it's a collaboration. I have no competition with anyone. The only competition is myself when I wake up in the morning. I promise you that.
That's interesting. I didn't know they thought that way. But yeah, that would be counterintuitive to being collaborative with that mindset.
Yeah, because they're thinking, what is he out to get from me? Because they think everyone's trying to get something. But at the end of the day, maybe we are in the longer scheme of things, but maybe at the same time we want to help and build a relationship so it's mutually beneficial.
Right.
And that's what they have to understand.
Yeah, they need to be more willing to work together, right? There's that fear. When you're living in fear, it's tough to grow. It's almost impossible.
That's a lot of people, man. That's a lot of people. I lived in fear too. The first time we had our first event, it was tough. I did a lot of mistakes. I learned a lot from my mentor because he had big events. But for example, our first venue was $80,000.
Holy crap.
But then this is what I understood, though. I purposely knew what I was getting into, even though it was a nightmare and a headache. But creating that proof of concept and going all in on something, no matter that you're going to lose money, and knowing it and just being devoted to that will create something that will create a legacy. Because the people that saw that, they're like, yo, this kid didn't even like try to milk us for money or splurge us. Because there's people that do events just to give quick in and out buck and they're out. That's not how we did. We went all in, and they're like, wow, it was at the Bayou Music Center in Houston. It's one of the big ones. We have Lil Wayne, Eddie Murphy. So we went all in with that. We had a crazy VIP event, great speakers as well. Tommy was also one of the speakers. Carlos was one of the speakers. Renee was one of the speakers as well. So just the fear of it too, man, is just putting that to the side and just not being afraid.
Yeah.
You can't.
Can't, dude. I lost money in my first 10 events.
Let me ask you a question. I'm curious. Like, when you started this amazing thing, were you scared the first?
I lost money the first 6 months. I was out $100,000.
Really?
And I was introverted, didn't know how to talk to people correctly. I mean, if you look back at my first 10 episodes, it's so cringe.
Really?
Like,
I need to.
I don't even think I could watch. Yeah, they're on the YouTube. I'll never delete them because I think it's important to see where I started. But yeah, dude, I was nervous. Whenever you start something that you're not comfortable in, you're going to be nervous. So you just got to fight through that.
When did you kind of have that momentum push where you're like, all right, like, I'm building something, I'm creating something, it's slow, but then just kind of
I would say the first profitable month, which was 7 months in, I was like, okay, now I can, maybe recoup my money, maybe even make money. Let me keep pushing. Because I wasn't going to quit, but I was going to really take a step back because I invested almost everything I had at the time.
So it took you almost a year of consistency to see results.
I would say so, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, at least a year. And it for me, a year is most people's 5 years because I was filming 50 episodes a month.
I was going to ask you that.
So for me, a year doesn't sound like a lot of time, but for most people, it probably would be because I'm all in.
Fuck yeah.
How
many episodes do you have now to this date?
We're past 1,000 now. I don't air every single one I film, but I've filmed almost 1,200. So I think I'm going to release about 800, 900 of those. So almost 1,000, dude.
Wow.
Pretty crazy, right?
Yeah, man. I'm like at 40 or 50.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, we started like 3-4 months ago.
Nice.
And I'm trying to get good quality people, which I think is a little tough too sometimes.
In Houston, it'll be probably tougher than Vegas, yeah.
Yeah, and then the thing that we're in-house, so it's like, oh, do you do virtual? Like, nah, brother.
Hell no.
Podcast is the podcast. Human-to-human interaction, I think, is important as well.
There's very few shows that could pull off virtual.
Which ones do you think could pull off virtual?
There's one called My First Million.
Okay.
I watched every episode of that. I think Tim Ferriss's might be virtual, but he started so long ago that his audience was already used to that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the All In podcast, just because there's 4 billionaires, it's hard to get them all in person. So
that's with Carlos, right?
Carlos?
All
no. Is it? It might be.
I think so.
I know Chamath is on it. He's the only one I know. I think Chamath and David something.
Oh.
But yeah, not many shows. So don't go against the grain. You know what I mean? Don't try to stand out. There's always going to be outlier examples in any situation.
You're 100% right. I think what you're doing is absolutely incredible, by the way.
Thank you, dude.
That's not easy. 50, that's a lot of energy. People don't understand because they see it through obviously social media and stuff, but the amount of energy that you exert in one show, you're tired.
I come home drained some days for sure. But then that's where the biohacking kicks in. Like you said, the sauna, the cold plunge.
Yeah.
Good habits. I started doing oxygen therapy lately.
Hyperbaric?
Yeah. I mean, those are super expensive. So if I could find one, then yeah. But if not, I'll use the mask with the cycle.
Do you do the hydrogen water too?
Yeah.
Does it work?
I don't know, to be honest. Who knows? But I know the power of belief and manifestation is so strong
That's
that
true.
even if it doesn't, whatever. Like I drink out of glass and I'm paying 4 times the price. But who knows if it actually has significant results.
Yeah. It's all a placebo. I mean, no, but you're right. I might have a lot of friends too that drink through glass and organic and all this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, the microplastics is pretty concerning. They're finding in every organ, but even if you're drinking out of glass, it's still going to find its way in your body. So
yeah, as I'm drinking
Aquafina, which is like one of the worst ones. But dude, it's been fun.
It's on your fridge, bro.
Yeah, that's on me.
I'm kidding.
Where can people find the event, the book, and
yeah, brother. Instagram, Stephen_Martinez, STEPHEN_Martinez. And then on TikTok, Stephen Martinez all together with 2 Z's. And then on YouTube, if you put the American Dream Podcast by Stephen Martinez, it should pop up.
Perfect. We'll link it all below. Thanks for coming on, man. I'll see you in Houston.
You will.
Yep. See you guys.